Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Kobold Chats. My name is Kendrick or Kendo, whichever you prefer. I use they, he pronouns, and I am the media production manager for Kobold Press. It's wonderful to be here with all of you today. It's Friday. It's the end of our week. It's like the middle of our day. So like maybe you're out, like maybe you're having lunch. Maybe you're just hanging out at home. Maybe you've got a long weekend, Yesterday was the 4th of July. Maybe you have the 5th off as well. Yeah, different people have different things going on with them. So that is what it is. But whatever your situation is, I hope you are having a good time. Today, as always, we're here talking about, the good stuff. We are talking about, if you didn't already read the thing, Roll For InitiaGive today. I have a special interview with two very, very wonderful people, Jesse Jerdak and Forrest Valkai of Roll For InitiaGive, which, if you don't already know, is an actual play that's currently going right now. It's a charity actual play using Tales of the Valiant from Kobold Press, raising money for Doctors Without Borders. But we'll get into all of that. We'll get into all of that soon. Don't you worry. But of course, we have to talk about, some of the things that, we got to talk about all the time. So let's get on over to that. All right. Hey, you weren't ready for that. Here we go. All right, Jiro, what are we talking about? Well, again, we're talking about the Fantasy Ground sale. If you weren't here last week if you weren't here last week and you don't already know what's going on, there is a sale going on over at Fantasy Grounds, which, now I can finally show you this. Bam! It's over on their website. I'm gonna put the link in, I'm gonna put it in the descriptions and all that good stuff, and I'm putting them in the chat now. But you can go over to Fantasy Ground and get 20% off of all of their products right now. It's a summer sale. It's the time for deals. So, that's what it is. 20% off of every Kobold Press item there, but also other stuff as well. So you can get Tome of Beast 1, Deep Magic Volume 2, Deep Magic Volume 1, all of these wonderful books for 20% off, except Tales from the Waste and Wastes of Chaos are actually 75% off, which is like amazing, right? You can get Waste of Chaos for $12 right now over on Fantasy Grounds, and you can get Tales from the Waste for $9 off. If you don't know what these are, well, these are our apocalyptic supplemental books. Waste of Chaos gives you all of the tools that you need to be able to make a fantasy apocalyptic wasteland campaign and run your adventure around. We had another actual play, I think it was like last year, called Tales from the Wasted West, which you can find over on our YouTube right now. You can also, we did it in synchrony with Realmsmith, which also had Jesse, KP, Jason from Realmsmith. It was super fun game from just on my side from watching it, so you can go and watch it if you want. But it's a good time. It's a good time. It's a great game. You should go watch it. You should get Waste of Chaos over here. It's literally $12. You get all of these tokens, all these art, all this art. Let's see. Oh, bam. Here we go. Details on chaos magic, corrupted locales, fiendish cults, and ancient treasures, 4 playable races and sub-races, 8 subclasses, 4 wasteland factions and followers, 38 new creatures, including the Eldritch Horror and the Chaos Drake, plus full color maps, new spells, magic items, and more. That's $12 over on Fantasy Grounds. You can get this. I think their sale is until July 11th. So you can just, you can do that. And then Tales from the Waste are adventures, I believe. Yeah, 15 new single-session adventures suitable from levels 1 to 18, playable separately, or you can play them in sequence. New environmental hazards to face, 15 full-page, full-color maps, new monsters, NPCs, magic items, making your prep really easy for your next game. So you can get this for $9 over on Fantasy Grounds. You could get both of these for $21. That's a steal. I mean, not literally a steal, but yeah, basically, that's it's so good. And then again, eight pages worth of stuff here. Hello. Over here on Fantasy Grounds, all of it, like, there's so, like, come on. Scarlet Citadel, City of Cats, Tome of Beast 2, Layers, Tome of Beast 2, Mythics. Like, there are a lot of things on here that I didn't know exist because they're just some of our, legacy content, like older stuff from before I was here. Like the original Deep Magic, the Underworld Player's Guide, Underworld Layers. There are like monster tokens for like Creature Codex and all of the other like Tome of Beast ones. Empire of the Ghouls, Courts of the Shadow Fae. Like, there's so much here. The Zobek Gazetteer. All these. It's so much. And of course, it's not just Kobold Press products. Everything on the Fantasy Ground store right now is 20% off or more, depending on those deals. So go check it out. It's worth the look. You're not going to want to miss out on that. So that's that. Also, as I said last week, we're still doing free Tales of the Valiant Organized play over in our Discord. So if that is something you're interested in, if you missed out on playing our free RPG day adventure, Shards of the Spellforge, then you can go play it over on our Discord right now. You can find that link in our bios, over on our social media. Like, we have the Discord join link everywhere. But if you're just looking for another place to play a little bit of Tales of the Valiant, want to meet more new people, our Discord is just a great space in general. So I think that you get a lot of value out of being there and being there for announcements and for the activities and the panels and the design panels and stuff like that. So there's a lot that you're getting out of just being in the Discord in general, but specifically for now until like the next, I think, week or two maybe, we'll be playing Tales of the Valiant. So be on the lookout for that. Join us. Come on, you can join us. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's it as far as the Kobold Press stuff goes. It's been kind of a slow week. We have people getting back from ALA, the American Library Association conference, which I hear was a really, really good time over on our YouTube. Oh, Frozen Knight, got my books in the mail today, so it's going to be a good weekend. Let's go. I didn't want to look at the PDF. You wanted to save it until you got the books. I understand. Well, now that you've got the books, you can dig into them. They're good. I can guarantee you that. So hope everything's great on that end. What was I saying? Yes. So that's it on that. Roll For InitiaGive is a Tales of the Valiant charity actual play being run by some amazing people. And episode 4 episodes come out every Wednesday. The most recent episode 4, just came out 2 days ago. There are going to, I don't know how many episodes there are in total. I think it's like 11 or 12-ish episodes, I want to say. So there's going to be, for the next like a month or two, there's going to be much more of Roll For InitiaGive. I started watching the first episode the other day, and it is a great time. It's so funny, exciting. I love all of the characters. And plus, they're raising money for a good purpose, right? For Doctors Without Borders, which we will get into in this interview, which I will not keep you all waiting that much longer. But I do just want to put a link in the chats here for the playlist for all of the episodes that are currently out. For Roll For InitiaGive, the cast, the costumes, the set, it's all amazing, and it's all built from the ground up. And you know what? I'm talking a lot about it right now. I'm just gonna, I think it's time for us to go to the interview, and do all of that. Now, I do want to let you know that this is a pre-recorded interview. I had this conversation with them 2 days ago on Wednesday, Forrest is it's so much energy. He was a very, very great person to talk to, and you can tell he's really passionate about gaming, but also science and helping people, and it's super cool. And I love how that comes out also in his character as well, that he plays the the doctor. Yeah. What was I? Okay, cool. Yeah, I think that's all I have for you on this front, which means it is time for us to go to the interview. So like I said, it's pre-recorded, so there won't be a Q&A portion for this interview, but we do talk about potentially having future interviews as well that we would love to bring them back, especially as some of the more cooler aspects of this show start coming to life and start being shown. So it's going to be great. Is there anything else before I cut over to this interview? I believe that is it. So I'm gonna cut to that. I'm gonna send it to Kendo from the past, and I'll see you all after. All right. Hello everyone. My name is Kendrick or Kendo, whichever you prefer. It's me from the past, or at least the past for you. It's my present, but my real present for all of you are the two wonderful people here today, Forrest and Jesse from lots of things, but specifically today we're talking about Roll for InitiaGive. For people who don't already know who you all are, let's get some introductions. Starting with trying to think of alphabetical what comes first, but I'm not. Oh wait, Zoom does that for me. Jesse.
Hey,
I was talking. Hi, I'm Jesse, otherwise known as Jesse Jerdak, otherwise known as Mama Bear. You may know me from the Twitter. Formerly known as the rotting corpse of X.com. Hopefully that has happened in the future when this airs, is that Twitter just resurges and we sleep on the bones of Elon Musk. I make videos and I make 3D models and I make good words. I am very articulate.
Very articulate.
You can catch me at Forrest's channel, youtube.net.forrest.valkai.
that's what it is.
That's
where I am the dungeon master, the game master, the master of Roll for InitiaGive, where we play around in the world that I made up in my brains. That's probably the best intro I've ever given. Forrest, how about you?
I don't know if I can top that. Hi, yeah, I'm Forrest Valkai, internet science man. And if you like science, skepticism, and general weirdness, you've probably seen my stupid face on that internet. I play Dr. Victor Vindica in Roll for InitiaGive, and I'm also the co-founder and co-owner of the organization that is Roll for InitiaGive, along with my dear and handsome friend Jesse Jerdak. We started this adventure together about a year ago, and it's been getting stranger ever since. And we're so very excited to be here to promote this unbelievably cool project that we've been working on for the past several months, because we think we've done something genuinely strange and genuinely unique and genuinely incredible, and we think that you're going to love it. So thank you so much, Kendo. I just slapped my microphone. Thank you so much, Kendo, for having me. I really appreciate it.
No, of course. I mean, we love having both of you on because, I mean, as you said, the project that you're working on is pretty cool. It's pretty amazing. I just earlier today, I was rewatching the first episode to get myself ready for this, and it's you all are making magic happen at that table. Let's talk about let's broad scopes here. You know, let's pull it back a little bit. We can't get too deep in the weeds yet. For people who don't already know what Roll for InitiaGive is, either the organization or specifically this actual play, let's talk about it a little bit. What is Roll for InitiaGive?
So,
fight over it. Yeah. Fight over it.
We will never fight. I love him too much. I want to start at the beginning, Forrest. Can I do it?
Yeah, by all means. That was what I was going to do.
Oh, okay. Well, tell you what, we'll tag team this. I was a huge fan of Forrest. He's really smart. He's super funny. His videos are amazing. And I was listening to a podcast he was doing, and he mentioned that he likes the TTRPGs. And I'm like, I'm TTRPGs. I'm going to reach out to this cool guy on the internet and see if he wants to TTRPGs with me. And then, Forrest, what did you say?
I said I would totally do it if we could do it for charity. Because I don't have time for any kind of fun in my life. And Jesse seemed amicable to that. And so we gave it a try, and we played a game on my channel on a live stream with zero prep and like no announcement whatsoever and no budget. And it was a like just an overlay that a friend made over as like a Discord chat. And that was the game, and it looked bad, and the cameras kept messing up, and it went terribly awry. I think one of the players had to leave like halfway through. It was just a mess. And in that 3 hours of us like screwing around, we raised like $5,000 for charity. And we were like, we'll flip, dude. I mean, if this works this well, we should do it more. And so exactly a year ago, I was driving back from a dig that I was doing, and I was at this long drive where I was just bored out of my gourd, and I was thinking about fantasy stuff and TTRPG things and making up characters in my head. And I called Jesse, and I was like, hey, do you want to do something really stupid? Let's do what we've done. And this happened. We ended up bringing a bunch of content creator friends from all around the country, all together in Denver, Colorado. And we played like, what was it? Like the actual gameplay is like about 35 to 40 hours, you should say.
Yeah, probably.
The actual working hours of like setup and like, you know, us figuring things out and everything was well into the hundreds of hours. For a week, we spent a week in this godforsaken Airbnb, playing the hell out of Tales of the Valiant. And then I've been editing that for several months, and now we've got the most ridiculous charity event of our generation for people to enjoy and sink money into to save lives all around the world.
Yeah. It's like it's so wild hearing you describe what the first version of Roll for InitiaGive looked like in comparison to what it looks like now. Leaps and bounds from the first iteration to the second.
We go hard.
Yeah. I mean, how does that feel, right? Like having, I mean, you all are, you know, past it, right? You're in past post, right? It's done. It's just getting scheduled out. Like,
Yeah.
how did it feel from the two of you who, you know, just started it, going from an overlay on a Discord call to what is like a full in Airbnb full
we built a studio in the Airbnb. It was nutty. I'll send you some behind the scenes pictures of that so you can see what it looked like.
Please.
What would you say, Jesse? Because I have words, and they're not all of them are PG-13.
Yeah, that's true. I can keep it mostly PG-13. You know, it's true. That Airbnb was especially cursed.
So many problems.
We were in kind of the central living room area, and if you dropped a Dorito on the carpet anywhere in that house, it would just show up on the microphones. I don't know why, but sound was just an issue. But I had enlisted a friend of mine. Her name is Sarah. She's a local here in Denver, and I'm like, hey, I need something that looks vaguely Victorian, and it needs to fit inside a living room of which I don't have the dimensions. What can you do for me? And she drove up from Colorado Springs, which is about an hour from where we filmed, and she made this cool, like, it looked like half circus tent, half Victorian parlor. I love it. I love what she did. And but yeah, just having production value. And I gotta tell you, like, I probably, Forrest is like, oh, we did the first one, no prep work. I prepped for like a day and a half, you bastard. But this one, I think I prepped 8 months of my life into, and a lot of what I had been working on, the viewers at the time of this this chat haven't seen yet, but I can't wait for you to see like episode 7, is it 10, maybe 11. Episode 11 will blow your minds. Forrest said something pre-interview that's like, TTRPGs aren't supposed to be able to do what we did, but we done did it. Those are his words exactly. His grammar is atrocious. And so with what we accomplished, the amount of prep work, the amount of love, the amount of care, the amount of passion, the lack of sleep that this handsome gentleman and myself put into is... It's the hardest I've ever worked on anything. I had no gray hair before we started. Now it's like I'm like 50%.
The gray looks good.
Thank you. I got oh god, the mean dad from Invincible. What's his Omega?
Oh,
Yeah,
I got
I
that.
know what you mean. I know.
no.
I don't know the show, but I know what you're talking about.
The show's great. It's super violent.
It's on my list of things that I need to watch someday when I sleep. Yeah, no, that. But I second everything Jesse said. Like it is surreal. It is genuinely surreal to see this finally coming out for people after like there's just a sheer amount of like time and effort and dedication that went into it. Like this is everything. We put our whole hearts and soul. This is blood, sweat, tears, and just a tiny bit of semen. We put like the hundreds of hours that we have spent, and not just us, like the incredible crew that we got. I hired a friend of mine who's a professional cameraman to come out and run cameras for us. We hired one of Jesse's friends, who is now one of my friends, that came out and ran our sound. Like thousands of dollars that we spent on equipment rentals and equipment non-rent buyings just to make this thing possible. The table was donated by a company that is making these ridiculous game tables, and they just loved what we did. Like there are tens of thousands of dollars worth of donated like time, talent, efforts. I don't know how to phrase that properly. My grammar is atrocious.
I think efforts make sense. I think you're right on that.
Stop being nice to him.
Everybody put everything into this, and it shows on the screen, and you can see like the first couple of days we had a million audio and camera issues, or no, sorry, not the first couple of days, first couple of episodes. The first day of filming, we had a million camera and audio issues, and there you won't notice very much.
I didn't notice it.
Because our team is amazing and we were able to fix so much and work some magic. And as you start watching after episode 3, if you pay really close attention starting episode 3, like the sound is very different and the camera is very different, and it's great. But like just the amount that we were able to like just pour into this to make it as crazy as it is, it's something that I didn't think was possible. It's better than I could have imagined. It's something that I think everybody else who's a part of it is very, very, very proud of.
Yeah.
We're real proud of it. We're real proud.
And I think you should be. It looks absolutely amazing, from the set design to the costumes to the editing. You all made something really, really special. So let's talk about this special thing that you made. Let's starting off with you, Jesse. Let's tell us a little bit, immerse us in this world in which you've created for Roll for InitiaGive, for this campaign. Tell us a little bit about it. What should people who are going into these first episodes, because I think as of this recording, episode 4 is coming out today as we are recording. So if you're watching this, it's already out and you can go watch it.
Yeah, so the world, initially, I love just a good fantasy lore, but I feel like there are one or two actual plays out there that are just kind of in your standard fantasy. So the world is very like just barely pre-Victorian in its world building, and I wanted the players to feel special. So one of the things I told them going into this is that magic exists and people are aware of it, but not too many people can do it. So if you're throwing magic and flashy things around, people will notice because it's cool. That it would be like seeing an actual superhero walking down the street. Like, they're aware that they may exist, but my God, it's wild to see it in person. And so I wanted them to feel prominent in this universe, and I hope that they did. I used a lot of my own culture as the world building. I'm Irish in heritage, and so I leaned heavily into like Gaelic and Celtic lore. The town that most of the story takes place in is called Antreor, which is Irish Celtic for the trio. And the town itself is divided into 3 sections. The Nettles, which is where kind of the working class folks subside, and then there's the markets, and then there's Cat's Crown, which is where all of the upper crust guys that you hope fall on hard times eventually reside. I don't know, it's fun. I had a lot of fun. KP, who plays the Zod, helped me with some of the world building because I didn't want it to be an Irish monoculture. That's boring as all get out. So KP helped me flesh out a country to the west of Gallia, which is the country in which Andrior resides, called Samagrata, which is the name is just freedom in his language, which I thought that was, or independence. I'm sorry, independence. And so he helped me flesh out Samagrata, and we kind of settled on, because he was telling me how a lot of railroad technology was actually stolen from India. And like a lot of engineers that came up with our current, or maybe at the time current railroad technology, were not credited because they were Indian. So I was like, let's make Samagrata responsible for a lot of the technological advances in this world. And we were able to kind of, you'll hear subtle notes of that kind of woven throughout. We never say Samagrata is the Wakanda of this place, but you can see it in the way that KP addresses other people, and in what he had, like the clothes he wears are of a technological advancement that isn't available anywhere else. And, but also I wanted to, one of the first sentences I said in the intro to the show is that this world is part of the great cosmic labyrinth, which I think is a thing that I love about Tales of the Valiant and Kobold's lore in general, is that the labyrinth encompasses all of this. And that was a very fun framework, which I hope, if we do a season 2, to revisit very intimately.
No, 100%. And that's the thing I also enjoy about the labyrinth as like a setting, is that all of our worlds are a part of it, and because of that, there's a lot of interesting intermingling that can happen there. And yeah, that's really cool. Building off of that, and also bringing Forrest into this, Forrest, if you would tell us about your character, and first let's start off there. Tell us about who you play in this game.
So I played Dr. Victor Vindica, who is a doctor. He's a physician and nothing else. Nothing else at all.
Nothing else.
He is
nothing else at all.
Just a physician.
That's
perhaps an unorthodox. His class as doctor is wizard. So I with Dr. Victor, you're gonna you'll see a little bit of this of his character in the first couple episodes. You really get to know him as the story progresses. He's a little bit cagey, and he doesn't let a lot out all at once. And he's got a lot of emotions that are pent up that sometimes boil over, despite him trying very hard not to let that happen. He's a little bit more of an emotional person than he would care to admit. With him, I really wanted to explore a couple of things. Number one, I love when I make characters exploring things that I do and don't like about myself, and stretching them out. So I'm a very quixotic person. I'm very pie in the sky. I'm very driven by this, kind of over idealistic idea of what I think I and the world should be. And I wanted to take that to a destructive extreme and see what would it be like if someone was so incredibly moral that they became a monster. That's kind of the idea behind Victor is he was a very consequentialist person, that the ends absolutely justify the means no matter what. And the best thing that any person could ever do is save a human life, or save a life, not necessarily human, because we live in this world with other things that aren't humans, but it's just saving lives is the best thing, the only good, the greatest good. And so that is what he's going to do. And that's why he's a doctor. And that's why he's traveling the world as a doctor, despite everything that's happened to him, still out here practicing medicine, saving lives, whether you like him for it or not. And that was a lot of Victor's character. And so you'll see a lot of hubris and a lot of but where he's clearly thought about this quite a bit more than you ever possibly could have. He's already thought it out. He's already planned it out. He knows what you don't know, and he doesn't have time to explain it to you because he's got work to do, and you're in his way. And just this kind of thing where he's really trying to be a nice guy, but he has a charisma score of 8. So what are you gonna do?
So what are you gonna do?
So you'll see him with his a very high intelligence score and very low charisma score clash throughout this series with himself.
Yeah, that's super interesting. And so I'm interested in both you and making your character, and then also for Jesse when making the world. Like, what is it that Tales of the Valiant like gave you as like a tool, or like as even like creative inspiration that like helped you characterize like how you move forward, either as both the game master building the world, or as Forrest like making character choices on like features and stuff, and how that helped build the character of the Doctor?
Jesse, please go first. That's a much more interesting question for you than it is for me.
Sure. Well, I've got familiarity with a lot of Kobold Press's back catalog. I've played I played Tales of the Wasted West, which we use their of the Wastes.
Wastes of Chaos. And
Wastes of Chaos, yes. And I got to read like the spell books and the monsters, and so I was familiar with what Kobold was bringing to the table, and I realized that as a DM, I needed to be able to yes and my way through several situations, because y'all have some spells that are like talk to object, and that meant that my storytelling had to be indefensible, like or it had to be just adamant. You couldn't break through. Like I had to make sure that I didn't leave any little gaps that would allow our players to go like session 1 to session 10 and do nothing in between, because there's some really cool creative uses of spells. And also we've got the lovely and talented Cadiosaurus, who is a natural at absolutely destroying a DM's plans. And so I had to
and who used talk to object in the funniest way possible during episode 7.
During episode 7, she maybe no, I'm not going to spoil it, but she talked to something in the middle of a fight, and I wish she didn't, but it was great.
I wish she didn't. Is it?
I mean, it was great. It was great, but it was a weird thing to do, and I had to do a voice because of it that I wasn't planning on doing. It was one of those things, because I like to give things, if something's talking, I'm going to give it a weird voice. And there should be evidence of that. Omni-Man, that's Invincible's dad.
Omni-Man, yeah.
Omni-Man, sorry.
There's just been going on in the back of your brain.
Yeah, it's been occupying like 46% of my cerebral ability. Is just like, who is he?
I could have helped you with that had I known you were still thinking about it.
I was trying not to think about it. I was a victim of my own hyperfixation at that point.
No, that's fair.
But yeah, I had to do a voice for a thing in the middle of a fight, and I was like, okay, Katie. But that's all a roundabout way of saying that Kobold Press's classes, subclasses, and spells and their interactions are so fun for the players that I was aware that my storytelling had to be nearly damn perfect. And what wasn't perfect, I had to be prepared to improv my way into a fun narrative within 14 episodes. And I think we pulled it off. There was, what I ended up with was probably a game that was 60% improv on my end. I hope it doesn't show. I hope that's the first time Forrest is hearing this.
It is. No, I thought every step of that was thoroughly planned out, because like you did a stellar job.
Thank you. Well, the broad strokes were planned. The ending was all improv, because the way the party approached the final encounter wasn't how I expected them to do so. And I'm not going to spoil anything, but the ending was improv. And I'm actually more proud of how it ended than what I had originally envisioned. So that's the great thing about TTRPGs. That's the great thing about Tales of the Valiant. You can't predict what the party's going to do. And as long as you say yes, you're going to end up with something way more pristine and way more complicated and fun than what one guy can come up with on his own.
Yeah, if I can build off that as well, just to say that, like, I had the idea for the character that I played before I knew that Tales of the Valiant was a thing. And Jesse came to me. I was like, hey, there's this really cool new game from this much beloved new company that like you should really look into it and check it out. I can't even tell him how many hours reading the player's handbook and reading the spell books. You guys have the Deep Magic books as well as volume 1 and 2. the reason my character is allowed to exist in this game is because of the Deep Magic Volume 2. Because of the way that you guys allow for magic styles, and for mixing and matching spells from different sources depending on what the motivations and the point of the magic is, and also the Deep Magic Volume 1, which allows you to import spells from other game systems and shows you how to make them work. And also the way that you have the Cantrip Adept subclass of wizard and things like, and like these, all these things that allow you so much more freedom than other more alliterative game systems, you know, that I won't mention out there, that like really allows you to thoroughly and deeply customize your character in every single way. That's what allowed Victor to be a thing in this universe, because otherwise I was talking to Jesse for like a month or two about like, oh god, we're gonna have to roll this guy as a cleric, we're gonna have to come up with some weird god, we're gonna have to come up with this and this and this and this to make him be able to do these kinds of spells and these kinds of spells. He's gonna have to be a dual class, he's gonna have to be this or that. But no, with Tales of the Valiant, you're able to like deeply customize your character and everything that they're able to do. And so we were able to make this guy that is able to exist in this world the way that he does out of raw, intelligent power, rather than some weird freaking amalgamation of 15 different classes and features and stuff. So Tales of the Valiant being what it is allowed this game to be what it is. It simply would not have worked, not just for my character, but for any character. It simply would not have worked with any other system or in any other way.
Yeah, that's I mean, great for me to hear as someone who has to.
I'm not playing anything else from now on. I'm sold. I'm sold on TOV.
I'm super glad to hear it. And and it sounds like the experience of like playing TOV outside of just like making the characters and making the world was something that was very satisfying for at least you, the player. I hope also for you, Jesse, the game master.
I mean, game masters are gluttons for punishment, and because, like, I love it. It's so having we all know TOV is really good about making players feel powerful, because that's fun. That's why we're doing this, man. Is we're trying to experience things that we can't experience in the real world, at least part of it. And so what I like is to try and challenge the players just enough to not quite kill all of them. And that was very
Except
fun
for me.
I mean, listen, your
had an armor class of 9 is what I did.
And I had forgotten to like reinforce to him that he needs to cast mage armor just once every day.
In all fairness, it doesn't make any sense for Victor to have known mage armor. So like it what happened in episode 2 was actually a great part of the story.
Sure.
Because he had that was his first fight that he had ever been in, ever, or planned for, or he didn't know what he was doing, and so of course he died repeatedly, horribly.
I got to build on a thing because you said something and I forgot about it, Forrest. Is it okay, Kendrick?
Yes, please.
So initially, when we hadn't decided on which system we were using, and we were like, yeah, Forrest, if you want to be a healer, you got to be a cleric, basically. There's other ways around it, but it's the easiest way to do it. But he's like, I don't really vibe with that. I don't want that. And I started writing a pantheon that I thought Forrest wouldn't hate. And that pantheon made it into the final game. It's just that it was far more important to Kate's character. And I think that's really cool, because I created this pantheon basically just as a god that Forrest wouldn't mind worshiping, and then he didn't worship it anyway. So screw you, Forrest.
Yeah, it worked out, because like you'll see, like Victor, he knows that gods exist. He's not an atheist. He lives in a world where gods definitely exist. He's just thoroughly unimpressed with them and their followers. And so it wouldn't, like his character, especially because of his backstory, it wouldn't have worked out anyway. And it worked out so much better the way that it did. And you know, speaking of gods, I don't know if this is something that Jesse's excited about or not, but I can tell you that we we kind of set a goal for fundraising here. We're raising money for Doctors Without Borders, which if people watching this don't know, are an incredible organization that provide life-saving care all around the world in the most dangerous areas of the world. They go where the war is, go where the pestilence is, they go where the famine is, and they save lives regardless of race, religion, politics, nationality, anything. And they're the ones who are on the ground doing the real work, putting their lives at risk to save other human lives in Gaza, in Ukraine, in Sudan, in Congo, in Yemen, you name it. They are out there. They are doing the hard work. And we decided that if we raise around $50,000 at least, that we would seriously consider and probably just do another season of this, because that would mean that what we put into it was significantly magnified or amplified. And it was so much more worth it to have done this than to have just given the money directly. Jesse and I, despite the fact that we've just started, we're releasing episode 4 today, we have no idea if we're going to reach that goal or not. Yeah, I've already got the characters written out for the next 5 seasons. Not joking. I've got 5 character ideas that I've talked to him about. I've called him at all hours of the night, like, hey, can I run a thing that does this? He's like, that's incredibly stupid. Yeah, you probably could. And then we talk about it for 5 hours. And the next character that for the one that I'm thinking about doing for season 2, Josiah, Dungeon Dad, whose videos were a big part of the inspiration for making this game. He was the one that I was listening to on the radio when I called Jesse a year ago. I was like, hey, let's do this crazy thing. He was in the chat the last time Jesse and I were doing a show together and said that he would love to see me play a character who is as iconoclastic as I am in real life, with all the skeptic and atheist call-in shows and stuff that I do, in a world where gods definitely exist. So not just Victor, who's unimpressed with God, somebody who is not even actively like anti-theist, but definitely a theist. And we've made that character, and he's amazing, and he's hilarious, and I really, really, really want to play him. And I've got to buy like almost $300 worth of props for me to wear just to play, because it has to happen this way. And I've got it absolutely does, because I need the hammer to talk with. I can't just mime a hammer the whole time. And so for me to play this guy would be phenomenal. So if you're watching this right now and you want to save lives all around the world and be further entertained by our shenanigans, please donate to Doctors Without Borders using the links on our videos so that we can track those donations. It all goes straight to the organization. We don't touch a dime of it. YouTube doesn't touch a dime of it. If you watch the videos and you donate through the videos, we will know that you donated. We'll be able to keep track of the numbers. And if we break $50,000, we're absolutely going to bring out the Sledge Pope for the next one. And it's going to be freaking great. I can't say any more than that because I don't want to spoil it, but like Wolfgar is an amazing character that you need to meet.
All right. Well, if you all want to see Wolfgar, there's going to be a link in the description of this.
Donate and then wait, and we'll get there.
There you go.
Building on that, I have written at least 2 more seasons, maybe 2.5 more seasons worth of like individual campaigns that take place other places, but it's the same story, and it should dovetail really nicely if we do 3 seasons.
See,
that's
Entreur, the trio. And I'll tell you what, the trilogy, also in episode, I believe 8. It's either 8 or 9. I can't remember. It's either the very end of 8 or the beginning of 9. Charlotte, who plays Kirka Counterfire, Kirka is talking to a person who you haven't met yet in the story. And she mentions some really deep lore stuff that Jesse wrote that doesn't make it into this season at all. And so I put a note on the screen about it, but you're going to ask, like, what the hell is she talking about? Check out season 2, y'all. Donate to Doctors Without Borders, and we might cover it.
That's good.
We got to talk about the dragon just briefly, Forrest.
Yes.
We can't say anything about the dragon but the dragon.
But you'll meet him in episode 6.
Is that 6?
Yeah.
I will say this. The dragon is a prominent character in the overarching story, and he is a love letter to Kobold Press.
Yep.
That's all I'm going to say.
Oh,
yeah.
Well,
the dragon, powerful.
Now I can't wait for that.
A powerful and terrifying individual who you will not forget. I'm very excited for everyone to meet the dragon.
The like one thing that I was very blown away by while watching the first episode is there obviously is so much love, care, and intention behind the characters you all have made and the way that they are embedded into the world of the story. Like everyone obviously has their place in the world and are like so intertwined with it that like you only get like little peeks at to like
Yeah.
deeper things that are going on to there, right? Where like Amelia's character talking about whatever weird wizard it is that their character makes stuff for, everything about like Azad's like religion and like where he is from and like the way in which like that interacts with how I'm trying to remember everybody's I'm having a very hard time remembering everybody's character's name.
It's
But
only
like,
episode 3 so far.
exactly, right? Like how that interacts with like Ginny's character and like
Hmm.
everything about Ginny's character is so funny to me, where I was like, where's this going? And then there's the conversation between her and Azad. I'm like, oh, okay, I see where this is going. And then she starts talking about why she's being moved. And it's like, oh, okay, that's
Yeah.
interesting. I'm super and then like the dynamic between her and the other character, like people keep mistaking me for
For
you
you.
because we look
Yes.
similar, but we have very different things. Like there's so much happening here.
I love how much everyone clashes in this. Like seriously, it's just I always hated whenever I watch TTRPG games and everything. Like I hate this idea that, oh yes, you're all strangers and you meet in a tavern and you become best friends instantly and then you all go out cohesively and save the world. Like everybody has an issue that they're bringing in. Everybody has baggage. Everybody feels very real.
Yes.
And you see that like with Jeannie's character, who is just hysterical the whole time. And everybody treats her so differently. Some people are really just sweet to her and compassionate to her and just like, oh, you're just a friendly person trying to. And then, Azad's like half hitting on her and we're not sure what's going on there. Kirka hates her because as a dragonkin, she is not a tiefling. And how dare you associate her and take away from her pride as a dragon.
Mhm.
And Victor's just over her. Just what a ridiculous distraction. What a stupid person. This person clearly doesn't read. It's not for, it doesn't care. And like just there's so many different attitudes wrapped
Mhm.
up in just that one interaction. And I think as you'll see these characters, you mentioned that you're seeing these little snippets, these little glimpses into their characters. We had to wrap like, 50 to 60 episodes worth of character development into the 14 episodes that we got. And so like,
Yeah.
it's going to ebb and flow. You'll see some tiny glimpses. You'll have a couple of monologues in there, but you'll never see a character just being an island. There's never a time where it's just like, this is the script that I wanted to read and now I'm done. It's very clearly like adaptive to the world and adaptive to the people around and adaptive to the other characters. The interactions they have feel very raw and very human, for lack of a better word. And very realistic. And there are some parts in the series that get really heavy and emotional. And there are some parts that get genuinely funny. And it's for the exact same reason, because the full breadth of these characters' personalities is just laid bare in every single episode. And there's not a single bit of it that you're left, wishing you could learn less about them, like wishing you're always wanting to see just a little bit more of every single one of them. And it's so much fun.
Yeah. It's you all have done some genuinely amazing work, and I because I'm on this side of the camera, know things that are going to be happening, that are going to be shown, that I can't wait to see people's reactions to, because I remember when I first heard that they were going to be done, I went, what does that even look like? And then I saw what it looked like. And
Yeah.
I was so blown, and I can only imagine what that was like. And I obviously I'm not I don't want to spoil anyone or anything, but there's some puppetry that happens that is genuinely wild for an actual play. And like I can't wait, I can't just wait to see people's reactions to it, but I can't wait to see how the space in general reacts to its existence, and how that we might see more stuff like it in the future.
I also want to, while we're talking about it, just very briefly, I also want to shout out Chase Noseworthy, our composer, who made a custom score for the series. If you like the theme song, that's him. And then not only that, made like variations on that theme and that motif for each of the ridiculously incredible things that you're going to see throughout the series. So like that theme song has haunted me for the past year, and I love it. I've never hated hearing it. But like the amount of time and effort and dedication that he put into it, like it's absolutely ridiculous. And I think you're gonna love in episodes 7, 11, and 14, hearing some really cool twists on that theme. You're gonna love it so much. You already heard one in episode 2 when he took that theme song and added some church bells and some military drums and really amped it up. The soft acoustic thing that we have going on for all the next times on, the little brief thing for all the last times on, that is all this dude just being really, really passionate about what he does and being really, really passionate about what we're doing here as well. So Chase Noseworthy, if you don't know him, go check him out.
Love you, Chase. All of that's you said all the good words there, but I just wanted to reiterate how I don't think I've ever seen a live play have the theme morph and change contextually before like this. And I really hope people notice that without us having to like shove it down their throats, because that's a really special thing. Yeah. You talked briefly, Kendrick, about things that are coming down the pipe. I also don't want to spoil them because I want people to be amazed by them in the moment. But I will say that I have been efforting. Now, I'm not going to say tirelessly because I was tired the whole damn time, but I've been efforting intensely with all of my 3D modeling, sculpting, 3D printing, painting, and hand manufacturing skills for damn near a year to bring what I feel is game-changing levels of theatricality to the live play space. And I genuinely hope people watch, because I think that we did something that hasn't been done, and I only have bigger plans for season 2.
Yes, if I can just finish that, like I want to just reiterate that like I had a bunch of ideas, and the other players had a bunch of cool ideas, and by ourselves we would have had a really, really cool game. Jesse Jerdak made it an amazing game. And I don't think I know for sure that people don't understand what we're talking about when we say we did things that nobody's ever done before. But what I want to reiterate and really stress is that when I say we did things that I mean Jesse did things that nobody's done before. People have played dramatic, edgy characters before. I'm not special in that. Nobody has made the kind of stuff or performed the kind of way that Jesse has in this series. And I can't thank him enough for that, because it is what set this apart. And it's not just a cool story. It's not just a charity thing. It is the most ludicrous TTRPG experience that I've ever seen. And hopefully, if enough people enjoy it, it'll be the most charitably profitable one, and it'll be one that really helps a lot of people and makes people happy all around the world, and makes the world a slightly less crappy place. If we can take this silly ass game and elevate it to the point where it's actually something that really seriously makes a difference, that would mean the world to all of us. So if you out there are interested in TTRPG gaming, which I'm assuming you are because you're watching this, then you should totally donate to Doctors Without Borders through our thing and let us do this more, because you're going to like what happens next. I promise you.
Yes.
And buy Tales of the Valiant, or I'll go to your house and tip over your car.
There you go. He can do it. He's a monster.
Honestly, I believe that Jesse probably could. So
I can do it.
You should go do
that. So do it, or I will do that to you.
Well, Forrest, Jesse, thank you both so much for being here. It's been wonderful talking to the both of you about Roll For InitiaGive. I've been having a great time watching, and I hope and believe that everybody else who is watching this right now will also enjoy it. And you should, and hey, there's a link again down in the description right now. You could just, right after you're done with this, I don't know what you're doing after this, but you can just go, you can just click that button. You can, if you're not going to watch it immediately, you can save it and then you'll watch later, or just keep a tab up so you remember it. You don't want to miss it. It is funny. It is amazing. It's beautifully designed and costumed and scored. Please, please, please go watch it, or bare minimum, even if you don't want to watch it, whatever, go there to donate to Doctors Without Borders. I'm not gonna double down on everything Forrest said. I mean, I am gonna double down on it by saying I'm doubling down. I'm not just gonna repeat everything that Forrest said, but it is an amazing organization doing really, really, really good and necessary work. And so, bare minimum, go to the link so you can go donate. But also, if you want to be entertained, go watch it because you will be thoroughly entertained. Yes, thank you both so much. Let's do some quick housekeeping. Where can people find the two of you on the internet, and do you have anything other stuff that people might be interested in?
Forrest has lots. Forrest, you go.
Yeah, you can find me at valkailabs.com. That's where all my links are. But what I really like you to do is just look me up on them YouTubes, youtube.com/@renegade science teacher, or just Google my name, and watch just this. And then other stuff if you like. If you like to learn about evolutionary biology, and if you like debunking pseudoscience, and if you like just cool, weird stuff about the world around you, then you might like some of my stuff. But really, just go there and watch this. That's the thing that you can do. If you want to be friends with me, go watch this. Leave it playing in the background while you sleep and shower, and then donate whatever you possibly can. All the money that you have left over after buying your copies of Tales of the Valiant, give to Doctors Without Borders through our link. That's what you should do.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a hard thing to follow. All right, yeah, I'm far less prolific as my enchanting and delightful business partner, Forrest the Valkai. You can find me on x.com yelling at racists and talking about TTRPG stuff. I'm also going to reignite my YouTube presence. You can find me on YouTube at youtube.com/Jesse Jerdak. I think there's more. Just Google Jesse Jerdak. It's fine. You'll find
you
it.
have to put an at in there now. It's youtube.com/@Jesse Jerdak.
Oh, really?
Why did they add an at? Why did they do that?
It's a little weird. It's a little
just
weird.
dumb, and they did it anyway.
Shouldn't have done it. You can find me on the all the social medias at Jesse Jerdak. I like to make things, and I like to make people happy. I came up with a new mission statement because of Roll For InitiaGive. I kind of want to be the Jim Henson of this space. I'm good at making things. Jim seemed like a pretty cool guy with a pretty concise vision. And I got to tell you, what's more important to me than creating content is creating special little memories that people can kind of hold with them and bring up little nostalgic rushes of emotion. I want that for our space really badly.
Yeah, I've got plenty of those. I've got some of those memories right here, actually, on my shelf right next to me. I've got this little memory, and I've got this little memory right next to me here. Yeah. Memories. Tune in to learn more about these.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're gonna have to censor that.
No. It's just a mushroom. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you. Thank you all for watching this interview. And I'm going to pass it on off to me in the present. Hello, it's me in the present. Oh wait, hold on. I got to unmute myself in Discord. There we go. Hello. Hey, everybody. Okay, so I hope you all enjoyed that Just a Mushroom. No relationship to any TOV or any of its adventures or anything like that. Don't worry about it. It's fine. There's no spoilers. It's okay. Everything's good. I hope you all enjoyed that interview. I certainly did enjoy doing that interview. Jesse and Forrest were a joy to talk with and a joy to watch in Roll For InitiaGive. Yeah, what mushroom? Don't even worry about it. Just see, Kai, you know exactly what to do. So thank you all so much for being here for another Kobold Chats. I will be seeing you all next week, same time, same channel, whichever you're watching it on. Don't forget, we're currently cross-streaming to Twitch out there, YouTube also out there, and then Discord also out there. So you can join us here same time every Friday at 2 p.m. Central Time, 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern. You know, you all can figure out time zones. You're very smart people because you're here. So, yeah, that's all I've got for you. I will see you all next week. Don't forget to go out, eat enough food, drink enough water, get enough sleep, and take care of yourself, because self-care is very important. Don't forget to love yourself and everyone around you. See y'all.